What's the most difficult thing about being you and or living the life that you live? Today's question comes from Kyle Mark Jones, and that's what I'm gonna be answering.
Hi, I'm Dan.
Also, make sure to subscribe if you like videos like this and smash the like button.
Hi, I'm Dan Henry. I used to deliver pizza and sell water bottles to pay my rent. Then I discovered entrepreneurship and grew a $20 million online business. Subscribe to my channel and I'll show you how.
Hey everybody, Dan Henry here, and I've decided to do a series of YouTube videos where I just answer questions from people on social media about whatever. And this was an interesting question, that's why I decided to pick it. What's the most difficult thing about being Dan? That's a great question. I would say there's probably a few different things, and keep in mind I don't like to complain because like I remember when I was younger and I saw Eminem come up and he became like the most famous rapper in the world, and he proved all the haters wrong, and he just amassed this crazy wealth right away. And then he like comes out with a song complaining about getting asked for an autograph while he's having lunch with his daughter, and I was like, dude, like how soft can you be? So I don't like to complain because I have a life that most people will never have, unfortunately, and 99% of the people on the planet are not going to have this life. And I'm not saying that this life is better just because I've built wealth and company and all that, because there are tons of people out there that are very happy that are not wealthy. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that for those out there that want to be wealthy, for those out there that want to be successful, and they define success as building a company or being a best-selling author or having millions of dollars, whatever it is, it's not something a lot of people achieve. So I just try not to complain. But if Kyle, I had to pick some things, them in my head, I would say one of the things would be the constant expectation, right? Like I know there's a ton, and I feel different in my industry because there is a ton of people in my industry who they make a bunch of money and then they want to go up. They want to get to the next level. They make a bunch of money and they want to get to the next level. Everything from I want to build a $100 million company. Okay, why? That's what I would say. Like for me, maybe because I was always more of like an artistic type, but I just wanted to be able to do something that I enjoyed, make enough money to take care of my family, to give myself a nice life, and that's really it. I didn't have like goals for world domination or, I remember talking to Sam Ovens and, he was like, yeah, I want to change the way education happens on this planet. And I was like, wow, that's like such a big goal. Like I felt like small, and I love helping people and I love changing the way things happen. And so for me, I think it's this expectation in the industry that I'm in that I have to constantly make millions of dollars all the time or I'm just not relevant anymore. And at first that kind of bothered me because I was like, well, what if I don't want to make millions of dollars anymore? What if I just want to turn off my phone? What if I'm happy with where I'm at? I mean, I've got a beautiful penthouse condo. I've purchased a home for my mother. I've purchased a home that I'm giving to my dad. I have a freaking yacht. I mean, what more do I really need? I've kept my company small, so the stress has been small. I'm in a good place. I don't necessarily for me, it's more about self-exploration and impact than it is making money and making change and putting my stamp on the world. So when I'm gone, it's there. And so at first that bothered me, but now I've kind of grown up a little bit and I'm like, you know what? I don't care what anybody thinks. You guys can go measure your and leave me out of it. And so for me, like that next thing is my new company, How to Think. We're looking to reach the masses on that and teach people more about success and tactical mindset without having to charge them a lot of money. I mean, we're starting it off at $7 a month. It'll go up from there, but my goal isn't really to make millions and millions of dollars with that. It's to actually reach people without having to charge them tens of thousands of dollars for consulting, and not just reach business people, but reach all kinds of people. So I guess that was one of the things, but I kind of got over that and just learn not to care what other people think. I'd say the second thing is when you have money, life is actually more stressful than when you don't have money. Like I remember when I literally would stress out over paying the electric, over paying the rent, and I remember that stress. But now it's like when you make money, and especially if you make a lot of money, that money has to be protected. You have to have lawyers and accountants and just all the stuff that is just intermingled and connected, and And if one thing goes wrong, then this goes wrong. And well, you can't just put your in taxes and, well, nope. Dan, do you want to pay $2 million extra in taxes this year, or do you want to buy a yacht? Okay, I'll buy a yacht. Okay, well now there's expenses for the yacht, and there's chartering the yacht, and there's 3 lawyers that need to make that a reality, and there's laws that you have to know about for chartering vessels, and there's, now you got to hire a crew, and okay, geez. And then the next year it's like, okay, well Dan, do you want to pay $1, $2, $3 million in taxes, or do you want to buy a private plane? I guess I'll buy a private, because these are all like tax write-offs. And now it's like, well, now you got to do this and that. Okay, well, Dan, do you want to pay $1 million in taxes, or do you want to put it into this SRA account thing and invest in stocks and it's protected from taxes? Okay, great. Well, now you got to have a meeting with this person, and now you got to have to do this, and now you got to, like, it's just so much stuff. And I've been fortunate because one thing that I did differently than most people was, instead of just constantly focusing on scaling my business and like always having $1 million a month, always doing this, always doing that, always blah, 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 I slowed down a little bit. I learned how to manage the money that I had. And fortunately, I was able to spend my time learning that, and I built an awesome investment portfolio and really learned how to protect my money. And it's funny because I talk to other entrepreneurs who are, a lot of times they're doing as much as I am, more than I am, a little bit less than I am, whatever, but they know nothing about protecting or managing their money. They know nothing. I'm like, what have you been doing this whole time? Well, I've been running Facebook ads and speaking at events and growing my Instagram. And I'm like, bruh, like, I know this stuff, or all that stuff is gonna go away, And so I guess the thing is realizing for me that life was simpler when I was poor. It wasn't as nice, it wasn't as enjoyable, but it was definitely simpler, and it was definitely less stressful. And I don't want to like tick anybody off by saying, oh, you don't know what it's like to be poor, Dan, it's so stressful. Yeah, no, I know, I know, I know, and I'm telling you right now, as somebody who's been in both situations, it's more stressful on the other side. It really is, because there's just more moving parts. You know what I mean? More moving parts. So that's probably the second thing. I'm trying to think of things to complain about. I don't really, I guess the other thing is always having to make the right decision, or it can potentially affect other people than you. Like if I have an employee and I have to let that employee go because I make a bad decision or what have you, then they have kids, they have a family, and that sort of pressure is a bit much. Again, that really goes back to number 2. But other than that, I really have to sit down and think about things that are hard about being me. Definitely time. I've really put a lot of effort into learning more about time management, but as much as you do it, it's still always a challenge. I'd say the last thing is, I guess, being someone, and I'll just sum it up, being someone who lived in a world where I was very poor, and I don't mean poor like I was like on the streets, but I lived in really crappy places. I would say that living in that world and seeing the attitude of people in that world, and then seeing how when, like some people say that your best friends stick with you through your failures, but to me, your best friends stick with you through your success. Because when you become successful, you notice how like you have 2 worlds, right? You have the unsuccessful world and you have the successful world. And when you're in the unsuccessful world, everybody kind of like uses each other to cope with the fact that they're not successful. And then when you're in the successful world, everybody uses each other's energy to have more success and to lift each other up. And so when you're here and you break out of that vibe and you want to be here, a lot of times people will make fun of you for it, and they'll put you down because somebody trying to rise up when they're not willing to rise up makes them look bad, essentially. And they don't like that, so they want you to come down to their level. Not everybody, but a lot of people, most people. And so when you make that switch and you are able to get to the other side and you are successful, people that you thought were your friends, people that you thought liked you, or for you, they turn on you because they think that successful people are bad. And so I would just say that maybe seeing some people in the past that I was friendly with and now they like don't like me, but not really. It doesn't really bother me. I don't honestly give a crap. I'm literally just making stuff up at this point. I really don't think about what's hard about being me. I just do what I got to do to get what I got to get done. So this is probably a terrible way to answer this question. Anyway, hopefully you learned a little bit from this video. And if you like videos like this, let me know. If you want me to answer a question on my YouTube, post it in a comment and I will maybe screenshot it, grab it, and use it as a video. So I appreciate you guys, and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.